Hello everyone. In the previous videos, we have looked at the linear and the quadratic equations and their graphical representations. So in this video, we will specifically be looking at the cubic equations and their graphical representations. So let us begin. So let us first begin by understanding what a cubic equation is. A cubic equation is an equation where the highest power of a term is 3. So here if you observe in this definition, they did not mention anything about the number of variables. So the number of variables can be either 1 or 2 or 3 or so on. So some of the examples of this cubic equation are say 3x cube plus 2x square equal to 1, 3yx square plus 3y square x plus y is equal to 5, y cube plus x cube plus z cube is equal to 6, and so on. So if you see closely, only the highest power need to be 3. It is not necessary that each and every term should have the power of 3. Once you understand this basic, let's go to some of the important formulae of the cubic equation in two variables. There are these 5 important formulae and it is better if you remember them. You can also quickly derive them if you forget, but it is always advised you remember these. So let us first start with the basic a plus b whole cube, that is equal to a cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube, and then comes a minus b whole cube, that is equal to a cube minus 3a square b plus 3ab square minus b cube. So these two can simply be derived. For example, a plus b whole cube is nothing but a plus b into a plus b whole square. So that is a plus b into a square plus 2ab plus b square. And if you multiply and add all of the terms, you get this. Next, let us come to two more equations, that is a cube plus b cube and a cube minus b cube. So a cube plus b cube is equal to a plus b into a square minus ab plus b square, and a cube minus b cube is equal to a minus b into a square plus ab plus b square. So these two can simply be derived from these two. Let us look at one such derivation. Let us look at how we derive a cube plus b cube formula from a plus b whole cube formula. So if you see a plus b whole cube RHS right hand side, a cube and b cube are two terms. So what we will do is we keep those two terms on one side and send rest of the equation to the other side, rest of the terms to the other side. So that gives a cube plus b cube equal to a plus b whole cube minus 3a square b minus 3ab square. So that gives a plus b whole cube minus 3ab, let's take common, minus 3ab, that gives minus 3ab into a plus b. We can take a plus b common from these two terms, which leaves a plus b whole square minus 3ab, and we know that a plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So this whole thing gives a square minus ab plus b square and into a plus b. So in this way, if you forget these formulae, you can quickly derive, but it's always advised you remember these formulae. There's one more formula. So that is nothing but a cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3abc is equal to a plus b plus c into a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca. This can also be rewritten as dividing and multiplying this term by 2. Half into a plus b plus c into a square plus a minus b whole square plus b minus c whole square plus c minus a whole square. Right? So once you understand this, once you remember this, it becomes very easy for you to solve some of the problems in algebra. They may give say 3 terms such as their sum is equal to 0, and they may ask some of the properties of say this part or this part of this equation. So this equation really comes in handy in solving some of the complicated looking problems. So let us now move further that we understood the basic equations. Let us understand what are the zeros or roots. So this is not a new concept. This is similar to what we have seen in quadratic equation. So they are either zeros of a cubic expression or roots of a cubic equation. So say there is an equation of the form ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equal to 0. Those values of x which make this LHS equal to 0 are known as roots of this equation. And if this equal to 0 is not given, if only this expression is given, those values of x are called zeros of this expression. So as we have seen in the quadratic equation case, these are those points where the graph intersects x-axis, that is y equal to 0, right? So now let us see how many roots or how many zeros can a cubic equation can have at max. We have seen that quadratic equation can have at max 2 roots, 2 real and distinct roots, and there are multiple cases where both the roots are equal, both the roots are complex, etc. Similarly, in case of cubic equations, we have multiple cases where 3 roots are real and distinct, and in 3 roots all may be real and equal, or there may be a case where there is 1 real root and 2 complex roots, etc. So once you know that these are different cases, if there are 3 real roots which are distinct, you will see the graph intersecting x-axis at 3 different points, right? If there is one real, if there are 3 real roots which are equal, then obviously the graph will intersect the x-axis only at one point. If there is 1 real root and 2 complex roots, again it intersects at only one point. So you have to keep these in mind. With these in mind, let us now compare the cubic equation, the properties of this cubic equation with what we have learned for quadratic equation. So for quadratic equation, let us quickly recall. We have taken a quadratic equation of the form ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, where alpha comma beta are the roots, and we have alpha plus beta, that is sum of the roots, is equal to minus b by a, and alpha beta, that is product of the roots, is c by a. Now let us take the cubic equation of the form ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equal to 0. Similar, and let us take the roots as alpha, beta and gamma. So similar to the case of quadratic equation, we have sum of the roots as alpha plus beta plus gamma equal to minus b by a. So because there are 3 roots, a new situation arises where you can write alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha. This is nothing but sum of the product of 2 roots taken once. So that will be equal to c by a. In this case, in quadratic equation case, we have alpha beta, the product of the roots is c by a. Here we have sum of the products of the roots taken 2 at a time. Then we have product of the root finally alpha beta gamma equal to minus d by a. So if you see these, there is a negative sign in the first equation, then there is a positive sign in the second equation and negative sign in the third equation. So it is very important to remember these 3 formulae so far as the roots of the cubic equation are concerned. So let us move further. Now we have different roots known, like the alpha, beta, gamma and their properties. Let us now look at the graphical representation. So as I have told earlier, there might be 3 roots which are real and distinct. So in this case, let us look how the graphs look like. So the graphs can look only in 2 ways. Let us see how they look like. So this is x-axis, this is my y-axis, and the point where they intersect is origin. So now say there are 3 points which are the roots. Okay, so the graph can either look like this, passing through all the 3 points, or it can look like this. Okay, so let us call this as case 1 and this is case 2. So let us see what are the possibilities, in which situations do we get case 1 graph and in which situations do we get case 2 graph. So if you look at the case 1 graph, so it is going somewhere like this and it is going negative. So when x is becoming positive infinitely, y is becoming infinitely negative. So if the equation is the form y equal to ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d, where a, b, c, d take different numbers, if a is negative, then we arrive at the situation of case 1 graph. If a is positive, then we arrive at this case 2 graph. To understand this better, and you have to be very clear in this, it is the symbol of A, it is the sign of A that decides whether the graph is going this way or this way. If the sign of A is negative, then the graph is going downwards. The sign of A is positive, it is going upwards, irrespective of the signs of B, C and D. Why? Because if you take do the small exercise, x square x cube, then do x cube minus x square and then x square minus x. So take multiple values of x, start with 0, 1, 2 and then take 50, 100 and 1000 and see how these differences are increasing. So if x reaches very high values, these differences also become very high. So irrespective of whatever is the sign of B, C or D, it is the sign of A that decides the sign of the y coordinate, right? So you have to keep this in mind. This makes it very easy for you to draw graphs. So take some time to understand this and take some of the examples of the graphs and try to understand this very clearly. So this is the case where 3 roots are real and distinct. If 3 roots are real and equal, then they touch the axis only at one point. So the graphs say it is this point where the roots are, say y equal to x cube is our equation. In this case, all the 3 roots are 0 and they are equal, they are real. So the graph will be something like this. Take the case when y equal to minus x cube, right? Your graph will be something like this. Again, for these two graphs, this graph and this graph, try to take different points of x and different points of x and see what is the corresponding y, and try to understand why these graphs are coming like this, right? So this will give you a sense of what kind of graphs do a cubic equation represents. So why again these are useful is because it is very important to understand the graphical representation of a cubic equation because it gives sometimes the solution to some of the problems very easily as compared to the traditional method. Let us now look at this example. So in both the cases, the graph, this is the graph of a cubic equation of two different cubic equations. They are touching the x-axis at only a single point, right? So this is the graph of y is equal to x cube and this is the graph of y is equal to x minus 3 whole cube, right? So in this case, what is happening? X minus 3 whole cube equal to 0 and x equal to 3 comma 3 comma 3. These are the roots. So there are 3 roots which are 3 each and they are equal. So in this case we got graph like this. So what would be the graph of, say, y is equal to x plus 3 whole cube? In this case the graph would be shifting somewhere this side, right, where you take a minus 3 and the graph would be something like this. Oh, sorry, it would be something like this. right? Basically it is shifting towards this side. So from the origin, if it is x minus a whole cube, it will be shifting a units this side. If it is x plus a whole cube, it will be shifting a units this side, right? So it can be even x plus a, or say m into x plus a, where m and a are two different numbers, right? This is how the graphs will shift. Let us now look at this special case, the case which we did not discuss till now. That is the case of three real roots, but out of them two are equal and one is different. The other one is different. So in this case, this graph is intersecting x-axis at 3 and 0. So the roots are 0, 3, 3. So let us first say why it is not possible to have two real roots and one complex root, and then we will understand how I found out that it is 0, 3, 3. So we know that alpha plus beta plus gamma is equal to minus b by a, and we know that RHS is a real number. So if RHS is a real number, if one of the roots is real and other two are complex, it may so happen that their imaginary part is cancelled. Say if I have a plus ib and this as say capital A, so that it won't you don't get confused with this b by a. So it is say capital A plus I into b, and say this is my capital A minus I into b. In this case, if I add these two, I get 2a. So these two will cancel out each other. What will happen if two of my roots are real and one complex? Then I will be left with an imaginary term in one of the roots. In that case, my RHS should also have an imaginary part, right? But that is not the case. Minus b by a is not imaginary. So it is impossible to have two real roots and one complex root. The case is always either there is one real root and two complex roots, or there are all the three real roots. In these you may have cases where all three equal, two of them equal, all distinct. So now from this graph, it is clearly understood that there are at least two real roots. If there are two real roots, it is not possible for the third root to be complex. So third root should also be real. This means that out of these two, one root is repeating twice. Now once you're clear with that, this is the, as we have seen in the case of quadratic equation as well, this is the solution for y equal to 0. Say if this equation is of the form ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d is equal to 0, then these are the solutions. Say if it is of the form y is equal to 1, right? Then ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d is equal to 1. For this equation, the solutions, the roots would be 3 points, right? You can clearly see that it is intersecting at 3. So what is basically happening is, as the RHS is reducing from 1 to 0, there comes a point when two roots are equal and those two roots are this minima where it is meeting the y-axis. So essentially, this is your one of the root, and where this tip is meeting the x-axis, that is your repeated root. It can be otherwise also. Let me draw on the right hand side. It can either look like this as well. In this case, this will be the repeated root because this is the tip of this graph, and then this is one more. So this root, if it is minus a, this is b, the root will be minus a comma b, right? So this is one very important thing which you should keep in mind always. Then let us look at this case on the right hand side, the graph which we have. This is a very easy case where one of the root is -10, the other root is 0, the other root is 3. So how do you write this equation, right? So y is equal to, one root is -10, so the factors will be x plus 10, because when you equate x plus 10 equal to 0, you get x equal to -10, right? Similarly, you have a 0, so into x into, you have x is equal to 3, so one of the factor is x minus 3. In this way, you can find the cubic equation given the graph. You can also find the type of the roots given the graph. So it is very important. You should be able to do both the ways. Given the equation, you should be able to draw the graph. Given the graph, you should understand some of the properties of the equation and should be able to derive the equation, right? So we will end our class with this, and you can look at more examples. You can take more of the cubic equations, try different graphs and see how they are going to get a feel of all this.